So I'd like to offer this talk as a tribute to a few people who were supposed to be here today but couldn't make it. And those are the I Live to Lead board, the biggest leadership icon of my life, who is my mother, and my boyfriend John, who is the very renewable resource of inspiration on a daily basis for me. So I will tell you a story that I experienced over these years of activism that is quite striking. And I was in a meeting with the CEO of a brand, a quite well-known brand, and the CEO invited me to join as a consultant to craft a new campaign for this new product. And what happened was that when I came into the room, he said, "How come you're a woman and you're so young, and you should give us such a controversial contribution to this campaign?" And I thought that was quite offensive, because yes, I'm a woman, I'm young, but my talent might help the brand evolving in something youth-friendly that could be potentially sold to a younger audience and could be a great success. So this single event triggered in my mind a mechanism that I've never adopted before, and it was the idea that I was young and I was a woman, and that was seen by this man as a potentially dangerous combo. I've never thought about it before. But age discrimination has been one of the first very big discrimination I've experienced in my life as an activist and as a speaker. And this is indeed not something unusual. We've heard before about the glass ceiling effect. And as you probably know in economics, the glass ceiling is a phenomenon that refers to the idea that women struggle to reach top-level positions. And the idea is that how many women can we count as leaders? Apart from Angela Merkel or from Viviane Reding, how many other people can we see? Just look at the audience. You could actually see that there are more men today than women, at least from a very broad scan at the moment. But it is quite controversial, and let's get this straight. Glass ceiling mortifies human potential. It is a big, big waste of human capabilities, of human skills, and it is not sustainable. It is really not. That's why big corporates like McKinsey or Ernst & Young are preparing big policies in order to raise the quotas in their boards. And you, as an economics student, are quite aware of this, I guess. So the glass ceiling is definitely a social construction, and that means there is the product of a misogynist society. Now, I want to be very clear about this. When I use misogynist, I use it only because I'm thinking broadly. I'm not taking the Italian case in particular, because the European entity is a quite blessed one, and it's definitely not comparable to the situation of Afghan women or to the situation of Iranian women. So this creates also another big controversial issue, which is the discrepancy between developed countries and developing countries. Obviously, women across the world are not equal, but what is the common greatest factor? The greatest factor is that women worldwide are still not equal as men and still do not benefit by the same rights. And this is a proven fact. So, not benefiting from the same status quo and the same rights, I have always wondered what is the real key to fill gender inequality. And to me, there is leadership. To me, leadership is a practice that inspires outcomes and inspires people to change the course of action. But what is the problem? The problem is that does not apply to women leadership. And this is because we need a new gendered view of leadership, since women issues are completely different from the broad public. So what happens here is that there is the need of a qualitative leap from leadership to women leadership. Women leadership entails new values, new practices in order to achieve the same level as men. And it's something that is actually a plan that needs to be achieved. So I've been quite lucky over 6 years of activism to be part of a a big network of women CEOs, politicians, stakeholders, and decision makers. And I've seen how much is important for the women who made it to the top to help young women to reach the same positions. And that is great. But what is more important is that me as the Generation Y individual, and you all, because we have basically the same age, we are the most successful and the strongest generation ever existed. We are fully equipped, we have a vision. If we don't have the tools, we know how to reach our aims. And you can just see from the huge amount of inspiration you got from other TED Talks that this is absolutely a reality. So, thankfully, this generational shift is something that benefits us as Generation Y. And I still think this is something that has to develop, but it's something that is creating a huge success globally. Now, as I said, to me, inspiration is a real drive of life. And it's a never-ending circle, which is the real renewable resource of passion. And this whole passion I have for women leadership has been sparked by the organization I work for, which is called I Live to Lead, which is an organization created by Laura Bodhi in 2010. And it has a specific mission, which is to empower young women worldwide by maximizing the leadership position. It is a pipeline for future women leaders, and it is a way to create consciousness, awareness, and to create this new network of women leaders that are going to help the next generations to help women leadership spread. But what we do at I Live to Lead in particular, we do create summits across the world. And when I say across the world, I actually mean across the whole world. We are going to hold soon the next summit in South Africa at the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. We held one in China, many in Europe and the US because the organization is based in America. And the whole concept obviously revolves around empowering young women. But there is something that we do that is quite revolutionary. We included also young men, because women leadership is very important, but what is more important is to educate young men. So what we've done here in China, we invited different boys. The majority was Chinese, because the event was created in partnership with the government of China. And what we've done is we sparked a conversation about why it is so important to create this concept of women leadership. Why is it important to see a woman directing your corporate, your business, your government, your NGO, your school, your department? Why is that important? And the idea that we interact with young men is that in the age of adolescence, young people can actually embrace the concept. We don't know what to force or to instill values that are not part of one's consciousness. But for the sake of the intellectual honesty, we treat this new idea of women leadership and women empowerment with young people that actually can understand and can accept or reject as they like the idea. So, obviously we do extend this empowerment crusade also to young men. And this is what I think could be potentially the key to fill the gap of gender inequality. And my idea we're spreading today, and this is really about you, TEDxBocconiU. I don't think that stands for university, that stands for you, because you have to think about it, absorb all their inspiration, and just get the best concepts to develop new ideas. My idea worth spreading is that glass ceiling can only be demolished if you educate men and women about women leadership. It would be absolutely incredible if one day we were not talking about women and men, but just human beings. So just have a thought about it, because that's quite crucial. So breaking the glass ceilings by educating men to embrace the concept of women leadership. And I'm going to conclude with a quote from my grandpa, who once said, "Future is not a unit of time which is approaching. Future is what you build. What can I do?" Now, just a final thought. I think it is incredible that today you've been here listening to all these vibes of inspiration. And I was personally really touched and really challenged emotionally, also with my brain. And I think inspiration is really an osmotic process. You give and you get even more. So thank you very much for sharing your vibes with me, and I hope to connect with you soon.